Some moments in the Super Bowl are unforgettable, not because they were epically awesome, but because they were straight up embarrassing. If there's somewhere you don't want to get embarrassed, it's in the biggest sporting event in North America in front of hundreds of millions of people.
Get the clock stop!
And anything that happens on national television definitely doesn't stay on national television. And switching names and moving to a whole nother country can't save you from the most embarrassing moments ever in the Super Bowl. And here are some of them. Starting with a franchise that should have undergone a total rebrand after this moment of shame. You remember Super Bowl 51, right? Yeah, of course you do. It was one of the moments in our video about the greatest Super Bowl moments ever, and that's because Tom Brady went full beast mode on the Falcons to overcome a 17-point deficit with just half of the game remaining. If you think that's as great as it gets, go check out our video about the greatest moments in Super Bowl history. So if Super Bowl 51 was a fairy tale of a victory for Tom Brady and the Patriots, then you know it was a nightmare and a disaster for the Falcons.
Brady has his fifth! What a comeback!
They didn't just have the lead against the Patriots, they had a whole 16-point gap between them and the Patriots. And this was while there was barely 8 minutes left in the game. Offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan called a pass play on the 3rd and 1 from the Falcons' 36-yard line. Running back Devonta Freeman didn't recognize linebacker Donta Hightower, and he blitzed off the edge until it was too late. And the defender got a clean shot on quarterback Matt Ryan. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before Super Bowl 59, and we'd be embarrassed if we didn't hit our goal. So slam that subscribe button so we don't have to put this channel in the next part of this video. Now, back to Super Bowl 51. The hit caused a fumble, and the Patriots' offensive team with veteran Tom Brady took a field. Let's just say the rest is history. You know what else is history? The fact that Travis Kelce is the last NFL player to crash out in a Super Bowl. Super Bowl 58 was a memorable one for the Kansas Chiefs. It was their second in a row and third in 4 years, solidifying their status as the newest dynasty in the NFL. But there's one particular moment in Super Bowl 58 that the Chiefs can only describe in one word.
Embarrassing!
And it was this moment right here.
Comes over to Andy. He goes, keep me in. What happened is, on the fumble, he was not in the game. Noah Gray went in.
The first half of the game was not going well for the Chiefs. Neither the 49ers nor the Chiefs scored in the first quarter, and by the second, the Chiefs were behind, and they went full-on panic mode. Tight end Travis Kelce decided to go ape as he threw a tantrum at his coach's face. Normally, Andy Reid is the one who should be spazzing at his players, but I guess the moment got the better of Travis Kelce, and doing all that while your girl is watching is not a good look. But maybe it did do a thing as the Chiefs fought back in the second half before taking the game to overtime. And winning the Super Bowl may have made the moment less embarrassing, but Travis Kelce still gets red in the face talking about it.
I know, I'm a passionate guy.
He was really coming over just put me in, I'll score, you know, so that's really what it was.
Well, at least the Chiefs' narrow victory saved Kelce a lifetime of regret. But even when the coast is clear, you have to keep your guard. In Super Bowl 27, Leon Lett learned that the hard way, because in Super Bowl 27, the Cowboys were well on their way to not only win it, but with possibly the largest margin in Super Bowl history since the score was 52-17. But when Leon Lett recovered a fumble and was heading for the end zone, he kinda got cocky about it. And this happened.
It's a fumble! It's a fumble! He had it knocked out of his hand!
I think Dob B was more irked about Lett being cocky about the victory because, well, why else would he sprint back to prevent his touchdown? It's not even as if the Bills still had a fighting chance. As for Lett, I'm sure he learned that celebrations come after touchdowns, not before. You may remember this moment from our greatest Super Bowl moments.
Kick up. Kick is on the way, and it is good! It's good!
If you don't, you should go check out that video because the player who made the mistake that led to it was John Casey, who after the kick that went out of bounds was sure kicking himself in the butt. There was just a minute left in the game, and that out-of-bounds kick meant the New England Patriots got a penalty. Three penalty that would seal the game. But while some embarrassing moments are caused by what players did, some are caused by what they failed to do. In Super Bowl 42, the Super Bowl that had made that miracle of a catch by David Tyree, it also featured a failed catch attempt that would change the course of the game. When Eli Manning made a bad pass intended for David Tyree, Giants cornerback Asante Samuel failed to intercept it, and that would have put the game well beyond the Patriots. And when it slipped out of his hands, he knew that he had made the biggest mistake of his career. But there are some moments so shameful it can't be blamed on one player, but the entire franchise. This isn't just an embarrassing moment, it's an embarrassing part of history that is just one moment that has repeated itself over and over again. I'm talking about the Vikings' incredible ability to lose every single Super Bowl they've ever been in. The Vikings' first Super Bowl was Super Bowl IV in 1970. Yep, the Vikings have been around for so long that they've even played in the Super Bowl before it had double digits. Well, in that Super Bowl, the Vikings lost against the Chiefs 23-7. 4 years later, they had a chance to redeem themselves in Super Bowl VIII, but they fumbled that too in a 24-7 loss to the Dolphins. Well, third time's the charm, right? Not if you're in the Minnesota Vikings, because despite making it to the very next Super Bowl, Super Bowl IX, the Steelers literally stole that from them too in a 16-6 game. Maybe it would take 4 Super Bowl appearances to win one. Well, guess who lost to the Raiders in Super Bowl XI? I'll give you a hint. The team from Minnesota yet again. But what's more embarrassing than losing 4 separate Super Bowls is losing them in a row, and that's something only the Buffalo Bills have done with a 4 Super Bowl losing streak stretching from 1990 to 1993. There are a few things that could ever bring a Super Bowl to a half: a military invasion, a natural disaster, and
The clock stop!
a power outage. Just after the second half, the lights went out in Super Bowl 47. Play was suspended for over half an hour. This was a big embarrassment for the NFL, as they really had no excuse as to why the biggest sporting event in North America could suffer such a technical setback. But if we're being honest, the lighting from Beyoncé's halftime performance did suggest that they would give in before the final whistle. But when play resumed, so did the intensity of the game, with the Ravens just managing to get the better of the 49ers in the only Super Bowl that featured 2 brothers as head coaches of opposing sides. Players who get to play in the Super Bowl probably get more excited than their fans. That's why injuries during the playoff or late in the regular season are enough to bring a grown man to tears. But Eugene Robinson, who was with the Falcons when they were set to play the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 33, didn't feature in their Super Bowl defeat. And it wasn't because he was injured or at a hospital. He was at the county prison. Imagine a college student getting arrested on the eve of graduation. Well, that's how Robinson felt, except 10 times worse. And if that's not embarrassing enough, he was arrested for soliciting a cop, and that's not even the worst part. The incident was particularly embarrassing as it occurred just hours after Robinson received the Bart Star Award, which honors players of high moral character. But Robinson isn't the type of player to say if he didn't miss the Super Bowl, the Falcons would have won. But this next player, who everyone thought would make a difference and actually did, but just not the intended one. If there's anything more embarrassing than being the reason your team lost the Super Bowl, it's being the same person that your team was counting on. So in Super Bowl 44, when Peyton Manning's pass got intercepted by Tracy Porter, they missed out on the chance for their 3rd Super Bowl. Tracy Porter's touchdown sealed the victory for the Saints, and Peyton Manning, well, he may be in the Hall of Fame, but he deserves a spot on the Wall of Shame too. If there's ever a place to have a wardrobe malfunction, it's definitely not at a Super Bowl. So one moment that Janet Jackson would have wanted to erase from everyone's memory is this moment right here. I mean, the Super Bowl is supposed to be family friendly, and there's nothing family friendly about a woman flashing on a halftime show. This moment was so controversial that it was easy to forget that Tom Brady won his second Super Bowl ring that night. While others believe any publicity is good publicity, the NFL made sure something never happened again by having the Super Bowl televised with a 5-second delay, so things like this can be censored out before they hit the screens of every American at home. So there won't be any nip slips again at the Super Bowl for a while. Which moment do you think was the most embarrassing? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our uploads. It'd be embarrassing if you did.